The Committee on Electoral Matters, chaired by Honorable Prince Adebayo Balogun, has promised to look into the proposed budget of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The chairman of the committee, Honorable Prince Adebayo Balogun, in a bid to correct the speculations of INEC snubbing in the House, explains the absence of INEC was as a result of communication gap as opposed to the rumor.
Contrary to speculation that INEC deliberately ignored the House at the situation. And we agree that the chairman got in touch with us immediately, he had the news, and we are very straightened things out. So we are here today to do justice to the process. And Mr. President, on the speedy treatment of the budget and we have been working on and give everybody is actually on board to ensure that we finish this process within the speculated time. So, without wasting much of our time, I will want the INEC chairman to brief us
The chairman of the commission, Honorable Mahmood Yakubu, reiterated the commission's loyalty to the House, gave an appraisal of the 68 billion naira 2023 budget and a breakdown of the proposed 2024 budget.
Honorable Chairman, we appreciate your clarification of what happened the last time. INEC has been very consistent in responding to invitations by committees of the National Assembly. In the last 3 months, we have responded to 4 invitations. The Joint Senate and House Committee, the House Committee on Appropriations on the Supplementary Budget, Senate Committee on Appropriations on the Supplementary Budget, and today the House Committee on Electoral Matters on the defense of the 2024 appropriation. And Mr. Chairman, after the clarification yesterday, we received a formal invitation from the committee only yesterday, inviting us to appear today at 10 a.m. in this venue. And we quickly made available copies of the documents requested by the Honorable Committee. And here we are in response to the invitation by this Honorable Committee. So I want to assure you, Chairman and Honorable Members, nothing has changed. We'll continue to work cooperatively with the National Assembly. And I appreciate once again the clarification by the Chairman of the slight mix-up in communication. Thank you. Honorable Chairman, honorable members, our envelope for 2024 is 40 billion naira. Now, for this year, 2023, our budget, regular budget, is actually 50 billion. Even the 50 billion for 2023 was inadequate to meet our operational requirements. Here, I'm not talking about the conduct of elections and electoral activities. INEC is an agency of government, and we have one of the largest workforces in Nigeria, over 15,000 staff. And we have offices in all the states of the Federation and all the local government areas. So we have staff, we have responsibilities, and then we have the overhead, vehicles, provision for the general overhead the government agencies always grapple with. So, in the course of the current financial year 2023, there were 2 circulars by government. The first one increased the DTA, the duty to our allowance, for staff across the board. In fact, the minimum increase was 100%. For those that were entitled to 16,000, the circular said we should pay 37,500 Secondly, in March this year, government increased peculiar allowance for all public sector workers at the federal level by 40%. For the number of staff in INEC, 40% for us came to 10.6 billion in extra expenditure, which was not provided for in the 2023 budget. So we made a case to the executive for the peculiar allowance, for the duty tour allowance, as well as the wage increase, the 35,000 naira award from September to February next year. And the total submission from the commission came to 18 billion. And government approved it, submitted a bill to the National Assembly, and we're glad that the National Assembly appropriated the 18 billion. We are yet to draw from the money, but hopefully very soon. So practically speaking, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, our 2023 budget is 68 billion, not 40 billion. Not 50 billion. It's 50 billion plus 18 is supplemental, making it a total of 68. But we are surprised that in 2024, the budget dropped 40 billion. Our envelope is 40 billion. 40 billion was what was allocated to the commission in 2021 for the 2022 budget. So what we have can barely pay for personnel cost. So I go ahead to draw your attention, honorable chairman, honorable members, to the first document that we submitted, which is our breakdown of the proposed 2024 statutory budget, which is the 40 billion. You will see in the third column the approved 2023 appropriation, which is 50. But if we add, as I said, the supplementary, it will come to 68. But in 2024, we are only 40 billion. So this 40 billion can only cover personnel cost and part of social contribution. So we took it that our principal responsibility is to ensure that we pay personnel salaries and allowances. And then we'll make a separate case to the committee on how we can arrive at a more comfortable figure to enable us to discharge other responsibilities. So the breakdown is of the 40 billion is one consolidated salary. It was 21 billion in 2023, but if we add the supplementary, it will come to 36. Because we paid the arrears from January to December for this year, we're going to pay as soon as we get cash backing. And then subsequently, we have to adjust the salary to reflect the new reality. So that we don't go back to arrears after arrears after arrears every appropriate fiscal year. So we require 36.2 billion to pay the salaries, the consolidated salaries for 15,366 staff of the commission. Some honorable members may say that when we presented the supplementary budget, at that time we said our workforce was 15,614. How come we have 15,366? That is because the arrears included those who retired, because some of them retired after the commencement of the new arrears. For instance, the effective date was January. Some retired in April, March, and they keep retiring till then. And then as a result of death as well. So those who retired in March are entitled to 2 months arrears from January to March. So that figure was higher because we included those who retired or resigned or unfortunately died. We have a huge workforce in the commission. So we have made provision to ensure that we pay the consolidated salaries. And then we made provision for social contribution, national health insurance, the contributory pension, the 12% payable by the employer, group life insurance, the employees compensation scheme, and industrial training, which is 1% of the wage bill. But with the exception of the consolidated salary, and I beg your indulgence to make a slight correction. The column 210101, the last column under explanatory details, is not part provision. is actually full provision. But for subsequent payments for the social contribution, it's all part payment, believing that the committee will come to our rescue before too long so that we will comfortably implement those provisions. But thereafter, on capital, on recurrent, on electoral expenditure, we said the budget is not funded. There's no provision for funding anything. So consistently after page 1, you see not funded, not funded, not funded throughout. Interestingly, including the Edo and Ondo governorship elections scheduled to hold in September and November next year. And party primaries will begin in the next 2 months. Party primaries for Edo will begin on the 1st of February and end on the 27th, whereas for Ondo it will begin on the 2nd of April and end on the 24th. So we have made no provision for that. So our priority, we believe, is the payment of personnel costs. And the committee, over time, this committee has been consistent that we must take care of staff and their welfare. And that is exactly what we have done. So that's it for the breakdown based on the constraints and for reasons that I explained.
The chairman of the committee, Honorable Prince Adebayo Balogun, who expressed surprise at the 40 billion allocated to the commission, stated the necessity of proper funding for INEC. Says by 2027 there will be a landmark in voting process and the committee will make sure they work on appropriation for a reasonable result.
Because it's the projection now I want to talk about. You are moving from 26.5 billion naira for personnel costs to 44.532. So how do you come about this increase? I know you'll be talking about promotion and all this stuff, and you've also put into consideration the proposed increment. But since the increment is not yet out, you don't know what percentage. Are you comfortable with what you are writing here, or you still expecting, if it is far more than what you propose, probably something can still be done? So because we're looking at making a case for INEC now, and I don't want a situation we now present our case and thereafter there will not be further amendment. Probably you would have stayed on what you are given, then project on the other areas. You know, personnel cost is always on first line, so they can always, that can never be jettisoned at any point in time, so that we know that, okay, you have not actually changed anything on personnel, it's just only the other overhead and capital, so that whatever will happens at the end of the day, then you know that the federal government will actually take care of it. Because
Honorable Mahmood Yakubu says INEC's proposed 89 billion naira for the 2024 budget figure is due to change in parameters and large workforce of the commission, with personnel costs pinned at 44 billion naira, overhead costs at 7.9 billion naira, electoral expenditure stays at 30 billion naira, and capital expenditure at 6.1 billion naira. Comfort Olayinka, DCTV News.